Action. Hello there guys, welcome to Dino's Vault. I'm super pumped up and super excited because my new R baby is right here. VR1, that is the Funda, that is the phenom that defines this icon of R series that Yamaha kind of launched and kind of decimated the competition right from the word go. Okay, so traction is turned off, quick shifter is on, let's go. Okay, so 140 was it, and it's absolutely brilliant and absolutely monster kind of a upgrade from Yamaha. Now this is the R15M, my own motorcycle, and I'm super proud to say that I really kind of do not regret buying this without even thinking twice. And the moment they launched it, it was such a kind of an eye candy machine that immediately I could feel that connect with the machine, that this is something that I need to own. And look at this in the silver livery, it kind of reminds us of the R1M every bit. And be it the tank design, the stickering. In R1M we get the carbon fiber here, but here the black bits are given in black, but nevertheless you can see the resemblance in a great way. And they have kind of taken it to a completely different level with this R15M and as well as the R15 V4. As to we were thinking as to what are Yamaha going to do and how well are they going to push the envelope and take it to the next level. But believe me, they have surprised us all and have met our expectations and also kind of surpassed the expectations with the R15M and the R15 V4. So without further ado, let's get started with the design. Up front we have the exact R7 reminiscent looks, bidirectional LED DRLs. The front cowl has been redesigned to offer better aerodynamics, better air channeling and airflow, allowing the rider to push the bike to its maximum limit and hit better top speeds. And then the advantage, the same LED bulb right here can be used for high beam as well as low beam. That is one thing. Another significant change right here, we have the gold anodized forks from Kayaba, the KYB suspension. This is 37mm forks, 37mm inner diameter, but it really adds on to the performance quotient and offers superb front end feel. And then of course you have the bi-brake brakes, I think a 282mm disc up front, and you have a rear disc as well. Dual channel ABS comes as standard, you can't turn it off, but you also get traction control as standard on the R15M, and you also get a quick shifter here on the R15M as standard. For the version 4 you have to add it on as an optional extra. Now another thing, you look at the cowl, the Yamaha branding right there, the fit and finish, everything has been improved and taken to the next level. The aluminum foot pegs for the rider as well as the pillion, the exhaust gets a very good neatly laid out heat shield. Again, this goes well with the overall color. This is my personal favorite. And then of course you have the Yamaha branding right here with the triple fork logo. Gets Bluetooth connectivity as well, variable valve actuation which was there in the version 3 as well. And of course you also have this carbon fiber finish to the seats. Beautiful, beautiful layout. Again, the seat I feel has more room now for your allowing the rider to move back and tuck himself or herself behind the windscreen or the windshield. And the space at the back is also pretty decent. You have the R15M logo right here. And even the tail section, I feel they have redesigned, and you can see the rear subframe has been altered. The geometry of the rear subframe has been altered further, such that the air channeling is better, the aerodynamics is better sorted out, and also the stability is better at high speeds. You can feel the difference the moment you push it. And then of course you have this lovely looking aluminum swing arm right here, which really pushes the handling characteristics of the bike to a completely different level. We had the aluminum swing arm earlier also, but this kind of a silver kind of a layout really goes with the rest of the color scheme of the bike. You have the rear monoshock, you have a quick shifter right here, means upshift, only clutchless upshifts. We don't get a blipper, so you can't downshift without using the clutch. So again, quick shifter in this segment, in this price range, is an absolute steal. Now talking about the engine specs. So powering the bike is a 155cc single cylinder liquid cooled 4 valve LC4V. So liquid cooled 4 valve engine that puts out 18.4 bhp or 18.4 ps of max power and 14.2 newton meters of max torque. 6-speed gearbox, super slick and very smooth, even more fine tuned for the quick shifter. Now overall, this is the design, this is how it looks, absolutely stunning and super premium for a bike in this class. Almost looks like a higher segment motorcycle, almost like the R7. It reminds us a lot about the R7. But another significant change right here, let me just come over here and let me show you the speedo console. Now speedo console is completely revised. You get white backlighting right here, and you can see the layout is different. Tachometer, speedometer, you have the fuel gauge, gear position indicator, and you have different layouts, different themes. Now this can be altered and changed by the info button right here. Can you just show it here? Yeah, this is the info trip button. You can actually navigate through the speedo console using this. You can go through, this is the average, you have the average speed, traction control on or off, you have the battery indicator, coolant indicator. Now in order to change this, you have to long press on the info button. Just long press on this and you can see that the track mode is turned on. You have the lap timer and the fastest lap recording being shown right over there. And if you want to get back, again long press, get back to the street mode. Again, to turn off traction control, now you can see TCS, traction control system, is turned on. Long press on the info button and it is turned off. In order to turn it on back again long press on the info button. Now it is turned on, so you can leave it off is what I feel. Then you have the caps right here in R15M. Caps look absolutely beautiful. You also have the 3D branding right here. The tank is beautifully sculpted, again a better built tank you can say, and the panel gaps have been further removed and eliminated. You get Bluetooth connectivity as well right here. You get SMS, call, email alerts and other bike statistics on this Y-Connect app. And apart from this, let me also show you as to how you can set the shift light on this. You have to press the info button, long press the info button for around 5 to 6 seconds, and now turn on the speedo. We get into the main settings, this thing. As you can see, now you have the mode, you have the backlighting. Now if you want to get it to backlight, long press again. Now you can decrease the brightness or increase the brightness. Again, set it, long press back into that has been this thing set perfectly. Then you have the messages, then you have the shift light. For you to this thing engage the shift light, again long press, again type RPM. Okay, get into RPM. Now we have set it at 9000 RPM. You can either move it down further or move it up further as per your personal preference. You can move it down or you can move it up, or then you have this upper limit that can be moved down or you can actually move it back up. Yeah, now you can move it back up further such that it can rev all the way. So, and there you see we are out of the menu. So this is how you can do it. You can also turn off and turn on the quick shifter. It's a little confusing and tedious process. They could have said that in this user interface itself, but they have made it a little more complicated. But we always use it with the quick shifter will be turned on always, so you can get it done at the service guys once you take delivery of the motorcycle. Now this is the overview of the bike. Now let's not waste any more time. Let's take the bike out and let's push it to its limits, and let's see whether the performance has overall made a difference with all the new changes incorporated into this V4 as well as the R15M. So let's get going with my ride impression. Really amazing, and the way they have offered this package is what kind of baffles your mind, because on one hand they've not given you extra engine capacity, they've not bumped up the power, they've not given any "are you insane" kind of power figures. You can see they've given a quick shifter, and the very fact as to how they have programmed the quick shifter system on this, you can see the quick shifter doesn't appear always. It comes after you cross a certain, see, you cross 4000 RPM, that's where it comes out. So it gives you an indication when you're supposed to use the quick shifter. You can't use a quick shifter when the quick shifter icon is not there, that is below 5000 RPM or 4000 RPM. You open the throttle, now use quick shifter. See, if I down the throttle, no quick shifter. Not with a down throttle. You're not supposed to use a quick shifter with a throttle down. You are supposed to use the quick shifter with a wide open throttle, and that itself, and you can see VVA coming right here each time we cross 7000 RPM. So that tells you the indication that the the variable valve actuation system activates itself post 7000 RPM. You can push it to its limits, and the power delivery and the torque delivery remains consistent throughout. Now say for instance in the first gear, from first to second, you see, now try shifting up, it doesn't happen, it's hard. But once you open the throttle and the quick shifter icon comes, then you shift up, and that's when the quick shifter works. So these small things they have highlighted beautifully as to educating the rookie rider. They have given traction control just to make sure that the rookie rider doesn't land himself or herself in trouble by ringing the throttle wide open, because the entire power is sent to the rear wheel, and there is a slight chance of the rear wheel spinning off and losing traction and the bike skidding. So you can turn off, for experienced riders, you can turn off traction control. I would show that I would have shown that in the walk around overview, but again let me show you here also. Put it into neutral. Now traction control is off. You have the info button here. Long press on the info button, traction control is on. Again long press on the info button, traction control is off. So better to ride with the traction control off. Then you also have different layouts for the Speedo. This is the street layout. Then go into, this is the track, actually this is the street that is highlighted, this is the street layout. Long press info button, we are into track mode, fastest lap time, lap timer and everything. But you want to get back into street mode, again long press and you're in the street mode. So such subtle things have made it absolutely brilliant. Quick shifter has made it absolute gem of a machine and great value in this segment. Even traction control and the design has really evolved when compared to the version 3. Now the clip-on on the version 3 was very aggressive. Now I wouldn't say it is not aggressive, it is. Maybe I'm finding it okay because I am gotten used to the Daytona riding stance, which is too aggressive. But it is not, this one is slightly, very slightly lifted up is what you feel, because you can kind of say it is RR10ish, because RR10 is not an upright seating posture vehicle. It is aggressive, it is track focused, but still you can, you know, ride like this, you know, ride with your chest up. But at the same time, is this a touring machine? No. Again, it depends from person to person. Now my biker brother Augie rides an RC390. He rides it across borders, across states. He's gotten used to that. So for him it doesn't matter, because he prefers that riding posture. He's used to that. But for an average layman, average rider, whether this would be comfortable or not is something you have to take a call on that after you ride it. Maybe for the first 100 kilometers you're all enthusiastic about the quick shifter and the electronics on board and the feel this bike has on offer. It doesn't feel like a 155cc motorcycle. It feels like a higher capacity motorcycle, and that has always been the thing with Yamaha. Another thing is fit and finish on this is beautiful. The fairing is much more effective, and the aerodynamics are better sorted on this. Then you get a slipper clutch for faster downshifts without running the risk of rear wheel locking or hopping. And you have the R15M logo here, and the color scheme is absolutely lit. You have these R15M badging here on the caps right here, and this clamp right here also reminds us of their R series DNA. So overall this is beautiful. Then you also have the start stop into integrated starter button. You have a hazard light switch, but the shift light is my personal favorite. I mean, let's just turn off the hazards. Let's turn around. Far more compact, but it feels bigger somehow. See, the shift lights, you can program the shift lights. I think I would have shown that already in the walk around overview that would precede this motovlog session. But yeah, you can get into that and you can adjust that, and the lights lighting up gives you that you're riding a higher capacity motorcycle. If they can incorporate similar changes and come out with an R3, or even launch the R7, I mean R3 at maybe 3 to 3.5, and the R7 at around close to 10 lakhs on road, it is gonna be I mean, it's going to take the market by storm, trust me. So that is the level of finesse and quality and the performance they have packed into this little sweet little baby R machine. I mean, the reason I immediately could connect with the bike was the way it looked, and the kind of character it oozes is something that makes you feel that this is worth every penny that they are demanding. So overall, this is a brilliant package. Fuel efficiency is another thing, because I've owned the MT-15. I just sold it to buy this one. So fuel efficiency is a major factor these days when the fuel prices are going through the roof. I mean, 107 also now per liter for fuel, which is really sad and horrible for the layman to afford. So in this case, the fuel efficiency makes a major impact. I mean, every drop of fuel, if you can optimize, and these bikes like these, that is the reason why Yamaha still continues with the 150cc formula. I mean, it's a blend of, don't need more than this for the layman in the Indian market. You're not going to push it across the BIC or the Natrax or the MMRT every other day. You're going to ride it to the office and back, and that's when you don't want to empty your pockets only on fuel expenses. So the Blue Core technology, the fuel injection, liquid cooling, 4-valve engine allows it to, rev higher and ring the throttle wide open without straining the engine at higher RPMs. Liquid cooling keeps a check on the engine temperature, and Bluetooth connectivity is there. You get call and other SMS alerts, email alerts on this. My phone is connected, but I have disconnected now so that I can concentrate more on focusing on the review. So that is all there. So that is what makes this an absolute winner. And they have not increased the price like day and night difference. They've tweaked it very slightly, and I think it is now one of the best machines that you can buy in this under 2 lakhs or 2 lakhs price range for the kind of equipment they've packed in. The build quality, the aerodynamics are perfectly sorted out. This is properly wind tunnel tested, and the power delivery is good, torque delivery is good across the rev band thanks to the variable valve actuation. And overall I feel this is a paisa vasool bike. The quick shifter can be turned on and turned off also. That is a tedious process, but it can be done once you get a hang of it. So all this makes it an absolute winning proposition no matter what. And anything that could be better, that's the only thing. Maybe they can bump up the this thing power to maybe 20 bhp or 25 bhp by offering a race ECU as an optional accessory. They can offer this as a perfect package. They need not change this. This is a perfect formula, but they can offer accessories for the enthusiasts. Maybe they can offer a blipper, maybe they can offer a race ECU. So that is all about it. My detailed first ride review is concluding right here. I just hope I tried to cover all the points. If you want me to do a live session separately where I can answer your Q&A, please feel free to comment below. But apart from that, everything is bang on the money, and I absolutely do not regret buying this. I absolutely love the machine. I'm going to love it all the way in the coming days. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, God bless, and ride safe.